especially for those of you who really want to be a millionaire and you're not just talking. If you're just talking, then there's a club for that. They look great. They wear all the t-shirts that say that they're a boss and they're doing nothing. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person behind you.
Because I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of WorkHARDAholics. I am Shirley Crawford, your original WorkHARDA. I feel like right there, that moment just totally encapsulated what it is to be a WorkHARDaholic in February 2021. So much going on in our lives, so much happening. But indeed, I am the original WorkHARDaholic. Why is it me? Because I made the word up. So I get first dibs. That's how it works. So I am happily over here at the Imagine Media Lab in the midst of the Women's Business Center, 1510 Willow Drive, directly across the street from the Kroger Willow Lawn, located in Richmond, Virginia, RVA. I don't know why I felt like doing it that way. That's just how I felt it. So I gave it to you the way that I felt it. All right, so here's the deal. For those of you joining us for the first time on whatever platform that you might be joining us, welcome, bienvenido. We are glad to have you. First and foremost, you might be asking, what exactly is a workaholic? And I want to say, well, go look at Merriam's. Go look at dictionary.com, even urban slang. But you would tell me it's not there. You're correct. Give me time. I will get it there. I made the word up. A workaholic is someone who is always doing something. We don't rest on our laurels. We don't wait for the world to take it us. We take it to the world. You have a mission. You have a cause. You have a business. You have an idea. You have something that the world needs. Give it to them. And so we were just talking about, as a matter of fact, I was just in the hallway. We're talking about one of my favorite quotes is that perfection is your enemy. There's actually a song that says it is perfection is my enemy. But it's so true. As a small business owner, as a thought leader, as a community provider, as a parent, as an employee, if you allow yourself to get so caught up in all of the details and all the minutia, that's another word for the stuff that you put in the bathroom, then you will never get to the real essence of it. So, like for me this week, I had this whole launch and things weren't perfect, but I launched anyway. And that should really be your theme in life. Do it. Oh, that's another one of my favorite sayings. Do it afraid. Love that. I love it so much. I keep saying I'm gonna put it on a shirt. It hasn't happened yet. It's added to my list of things to do. Do it afraid. If you are concerned about what it's gonna look like you don't like how you look on camera. Like my hair is crazy, but it's mine. Whenever I see people who do vlogs or videos, they always comment on I comment on like my teeth or my cheekbone. It's like weird little stuff. And none of those things are important. Like really, like one of my favorite I have a few gurus that I like to watch. Like we should all have you should everyone should have a mentor. I use the example like I've been playing the violin since I was 8. Excuse me. Don't worry, my temperature was taken. I've been playing the violin since I was 8. I am now 50. That is 42 years of playing. And truth be told, there are lots of years in between where I never even pick it up. Like right now, it's in a case, but there's a song I want to learn how to play, so I'm going to be taking it out and start perfecting. Even as someone else who is qualified to be an instructor, I am actually currently looking again for a new mentor, a new instructor, someone who I can check in with, at least for accountability purposes, who understands how to play, understands the music and majesty of being a violinist. And so that's how you have to be in life. So as a business owner, I'm a coach who has a coach. That's the way it works. And if you ever get to the point where you're uncoachable, then you need to sit down. There's no nice way of putting that. When you get to the point where you think you're the only one with the answers, I can learn a lesson from a child. And that's one of the reasons why we love diversity, why we love expanding our circle and not always being the big fish in a small pond, because that means your perspective is still a fishbowl, as opposed to being a small fish in an ocean with limitless opportunities and options and deep sea diving that you can do to accomplish things. So that's just where we're starting this party off, because we want to welcome you to WorkHARDAholics. For those of you who are wondering, what does it mean? It's the movers and the shakers always doing something. So if you want to be in balance and get some more green, WorkHARDAholics, yay! And we have a little check-in over here on, I think this is Instagram. Hello, Kimberly. I know we don't often stop and say hello to you all. We kind of talk to like Instagram and TikTok before the show and after the show, but February is so special, right? So I've already told you who I am. I didn't tell you all of my qualifications. Go read my bio. I'm gonna skip it today. I'm qualified. All right, great. Moving right along. So February is Black History Month, and if you're of the party of agreement that says that Black History Month should be every month, there's no denying that the impact of African Americans in the United States culture is phenomenal, amazing, and this country wouldn't have been built without us. But at this point, it's just like Christmas. We know that December 25th isn't Jesus' birthday, but that's when we celebrate it. Okay, so right now we have a month where we're celebrating, and yes, it's the shortest month of the year. Even so, right now we're stopping to make sure that we celebrate and honor our African Americans of past, present, and even future. All right, so with that in mind, one of my so as an entrepreneur, as a woman entrepreneur, as an African American, one of my favorite people, like my icons, like I really wish I could have met her. I don't know though; she might not have liked me. I don't know. I am an acquired palate. But I love Maggie Walker. Mrs. Maggie Lena Walker is one of my favorite people. And the crazy thing is, I loved her before I realized she was from Richmond. Like, as a child, I was always fascinated by the fact that there was this. She looks like my grandmother to me, so that's part of it. She does look a lot. She looks a lot like my grandmother to me. The whole like real light wavy hair, clearly a blend, right? I call it a mutt, but that offends other people. It doesn't offend me. I'm a mutt. I'm perfectly aware of it. My great grandmother was white. My great grandfather was African American and Native American. It's a bunch going on. I am so accustomed to it. I think nothing of it. But for others, that's offensive. Well, you come up with your terminology. That's just mine. That's how I talk about me. So, but when I look at Maggie Walker, she looks like my grandmother to me. And so my grandmother was really fair-skinned and had wavy, long black hair. And what I love the most about her is that she intentionally would wear these like funky, crazy wigs because she didn't want people to think that she was white. Like she didn't want to crossover. She wanted to be acknowledged and recognized as African American. So she went through a lot of effort to make sure that is how she was seen. And so for that, I feel quite proud. I'm like, she could have passed if she wanted to, and she did not want to. So happy Black History Month to you all. And so, but speaking of Maggie Walker, I love her so much. So here's this woman. So, okay, so I just need you all to visualize it in a world. Now, long ago, in a time not that far ago, not that long ago, her mother was a former slave, right? A former slave who became a laundress. So she made her money cleaning people's clothes, right? Her father was this Irish guy, so standard little white guy. But her parents never got married because really legally they couldn't. But, anyway. So her father goes on to do whatever he's doing. I don't know if it was a Thomas Jefferson situation or what. Either way, he went on his way. And so her mother remarried another gentleman. So her stepfather, and then she had some step siblings. I never know how that works because in my family, I'm a firm believer that if you're in the family, your family, there are no steps and halves. But whatever, she had a sibling. And so from that marriage. And so that husband was accused of murder, and so went to jail. And so it was just her mom raising the kids. So let us envision that we're going back a few years. This is not 2021 where it's like we're all accepting and understanding if we have a single mom. And no, this is not the same time period. So don't try to put this time period on then. So now we have a single mom who is not making buku money. I mean, she washes clothes for a living, raising multiple children, and she's rearing up her young, strong daughter. And so Mrs. Walker then goes on to school. So for those of you who say, I can't go because the system's running against me, please shut up. You have no excuses. And so she goes to school to learn to be a teacher, because that's what you did, right? If you were a woman, let alone a Black woman, you laundered clothes, you worked behind a counter someplace, you were a domestic worker, you taught. Like, teaching was the elevated thing. So she went to school to become a teacher, but then she met Mr. Walker, and so she got married. But that meant she had to give up her job. So for all you, women's libbers out there, she didn't quit because she couldn't balance it all. She quit because there were rules, laws, and legislation that said as a married person, as a married woman, she couldn't have a job. So she was released from her job, not because she was incompetent, none of the above. Nope, she was released because she was married. I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all, but I just pause on that. Like, what? What? Like, you could get fired because you're married? Right? Okay. Anyway, that's another moment altogether. So all these things this is the history of Mrs. Maggie Walker. So, she goes home, she supports her husband, she starts supporting some local organizations, and one of them is the St. Luke's Order of, I'm going to forget the rest of it, I'm sorry, it's a long name, but it's quite significant, but the Order of St. Luke's. And so she actually jumps in and she starts helping them. They have this fledgling savings and loan. And so she actually says, you know what? I got a plan. This is in a male-dominated society where she is clearly not a second-class citizen, but a third-class citizen, because she is African-American and a woman. And here she comes up to this group of a bunch of men and saying, I got a plan. I have a plan to save the savings and loan. And so I don't know if it's personality, charisma, or that her plan was just so amazing, but they said, go for it. Or it could have just been, they were like, you know what, it's going to fail anyway, go for it. I have no idea. But either way, she took it over and made it a thriving and successful bank, which existed here in Richmond. Did I mention she's from Richmond? So, which existed here in Richmond for up until a few years ago. To the best of my knowledge, it's not in existence anymore. But it was around for a while, and then either a non-African American bank bought it out, or something else happened to it. Because whenever I'm looking for a Black bank, I'm always like, where can I go? I want to go to Maggie Walker's bank, and it doesn't exist anymore. If anyone else knows anything else about it, please let us know. Comment, share if you got an idea. There is a Black credit union, but it's like rules about how you can join. They're in Manchester, and you maybe can become a member through Virginia Union, and it's really complicated, but that's another story. And you know what? I'm going to invite him to come on and have a talk with you all about that, because they're going through some legislation and information, and they could use your support. So Christina with a C is going to remind me, or actually I'm going to go back and watch the show and remind myself. Aha! Anyway, that's why I love Maggie Walker. So oftentimes when I'm thinking to myself of how complicated my life is, and I can't believe that so-and-so disrespected me, and he called me blah, 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 blah. Because even though I talk about my own history, as I have worked in a lot of instances, I have been the only female, the only African American, and the youngest person in the room for a lot of meetings in my life. And I do mean a lot of meetings in my life. And so I fully understand what it's like to have to represent for everyone. And actually, one of the biggest compliments that I ever got wasn't verbal, it was visual. So there was one company that I worked for, and when I came there, I was the youngest leader and the only African American. And so I think maybe 6 months to 8 months after I had been there, they were hiring more African Americans. And then it got to the point where there were like multiples. And I fully believe that the part of that reasoning was because of the work that I had done. Like, so when we talk about being a role model, or I know there's some who are like, I'm nobody's role model. Well, then you should be. Even if you're a role model for failure, I'm just like, we should all be an example unto others. And so I look back over my life and I think about all, like, even when I was in elementary school, this is how early this started for me. In elementary school, in the 3rd grade, I was part of the first orchestra for the city of Richmond, and so for Richmond Public Schools. And so there were 3 of us, 3, 4. And so 1 violin, 1 viola, 1 cello, and I think maybe 1 upright bass. That was it. And we used to go play for, like, whenever the city hall had an event or whatever, we would go play. Like, we were the and I was 8 years old, but we were the city's little school orchestra. By the time that I was in the 5th grade, there were multiple schools that had orchestras. The orchestra at my school, which was already like desegregated, I was bused to school, and so the orchestra was like 80% African American, and I was just like, people need representation. They need to see what they can be, and that's your example. That's what you're there for. So, like, never forget it. And especially in your business, like, show up. And so don't give anyone an excuse or a reason to be like, oh, that's how they all are. When someone says that, I want them to be saying about you and your business, like, they're all amazing. Every time I deal with someone from the Women's Business Center, they're great. Every time I deal with an African American, the customer service is amazing. So if you're going to represent all the way. So once again, happy Black History Month, people. But keep in mind, the history doesn't end. It starts, it begins, it ends with you. You and the next generation to come. So we are the history that we speak of. All right. I don't know what set me off in that soapbox. I guess because it's Black History Month. And I love Maggie Walker. In case you ever knew. I love Maggie Walker. So if you're in Richmond or coming through Richmond, go visit her house. It's a part of the National Park Association. So they have tours and you can watch videos. And I used to take my nieces and nephews all the time. But, if you've seen it a few times, you've kind of seen it. But yeah, go check that out. All right. So also for February, in addition to being Black History Month, we have deemed it as Love Your Business Month. Right? So of course, Valentine's Day, yay, is next Sunday. I'm pretty sure I have that right. Not this upcoming Sunday, but next Sunday. As you can tell, I haven't gotten to Valentine yet, so it's not really sticking with me just yet, but it will. So Valentine's Day is coming up, and then it's Black History Month. So to me, that means it's just a month full of love. And so, but I always say, one of my favorite sayings is that I love my business more than pizza. And I don't know about y'all, but I love pizza. I can't eat it right now because I can't have cheese. But overall, I love pizza. But I love my business more, which is why I don't mind coming in on a Saturday or a Sunday, although I don't work on Fridays. I don't mind doing the things that are necessary to make my business successful. But here is the deal. For those of you who are entrepreneurs and you say that you too love your business, you call your business baby. Well, your baby needs water. Your baby needs milk. Your baby needs food. Your baby needs clothing, right? And if you're like most new parents, right? I know so many parents that take a picture of their baby every day for the first year of life. Did you all do that? Do y'all know about that? That's like a thing. Like the first year of life, you're supposed to take a picture of the baby every day because every day they're making all kinds of changes and you want to keep documentation. I have a friend who was so upset because she had done that for her first child, but then she realized by her third child, she wasn't really doing it. So she had to go back and she was recreating these books because she figured it was a theme of what she should be doing. And so that should apply for your business, right? What are you doing to show your business some love? I was telling Christina with the C earlier. I was like, your business is not your stepchild. It's the one you love. So how are you showing it love? So oftentimes when we talk about our businesses, we talk about in terms of, I want to be a millionaire, so my business has to make me that money. Or I need. But what are you sowing into your business? How are you investing in your business? What are you doing for your business to make it better? How are you showing the love? Right? So I was giving the example earlier that for the Women's Business Center, I am showing the Women's Business Center love because I love the Women's Business Center. I love her. I love her. I love her so very much. I'm showing her love right now by, we're going to start running some Facebook ads. So I recognize that one of the things that we've built this amazing place, and it's beautiful. If you haven't been here, you should schedule a tour and come by and see it. It's lovely, and we do amazing work, and we're associated and affiliated with amazing people, and we have a great reputation, and we do these amazing things. But I have never really made like an advertising budget for the center. And even worse yet, we have so much content. We have all these great members, and we have all these commercials that the Imagine Media Lab made for us. And like I will slap them on social media like once and keep moving. So I am showing the business love by sewing into the areas that I know that it needs. So one of the things that we need here are more advertising. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is, or at least where my advertising is. So that's one of the things we're doing for the business. Maybe your business needs a fresh coat of paint. Maybe it needs you to do a social media overhaul. Like all the things that to really be like, if it were your real baby, you buy it new outfits and get it new toys. What's the new toy? If I were the Imagine Media Lab, that probably means I'd buy a new mic. All right, that's because her toys are techie. All right, Christina, what toys would you get for your business? Oh, see? Oh, yeah. Right? So you're just like showing some love to your business. And in case you all didn't see Christina's slide and you hear me talking to her, Christina with the K, that's Socialita Cristina. Hello, Socialita.
Hello.
Hola, chica, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Estoy cansado.
Okay.
But you know, that's life. So,
Yes, it is.
yeah. So in case you all didn't know, our happy co-host is Socialita Cristina. She is a social media maven. And then because we are all WorkHARDAholics, she had 3 jobs. She also runs, and in addition to social media, she has an HR consultancy agency that will help you with staffing, help you with files, take care of all that onboarding and all kinds of things that you need for your business, especially these days, because if you're doing it wrong, oh my goodness, you're going to end up in court. So we don't want that for you. And then she also has, I mean, just because, you know, she really just clearly has no time on her hands, right? She has a photography business. Right. So if you're following her, you can see some of her photos. And I haven't seen a post recently for the adopted CEO. Do I ever get it right?
Right, the adopted CEO Chronicles.
Did I get it right? I never get it right. Like,
it's okay.
I don't know what it is about me.
I haven't been posting about it. I've just been so busy trying to tackle all the other tasks I have. I mean, but yeah.
That would be life in the big city. I don't, okay. Yeah, but that's part of being a workaholic.
It is.
Yeah, we got a lot going on. And I said, I have so much going on that I need a vacation like nobody's business. And yet, I just did a launch this week. and I'm going to be launching a new Facebook page group for next week. Because, you know, I mean, you know, because really, I'm just really bored and have so much time on my hands. For those of you who are listening, you don't see me shaking my head. That is incorrect. But that's just how it goes. As a workaholic, you get these dreams and you get these visions and you're like, okay, I can do it. Let me take care of it. Yeah. But the thing I always say is, as an entrepreneur, you're going to have lots of vision for things to do, but you have to make sure you're structuring, you're ordering, you're making sure you're using your time wisely.
Yes.
And so, because otherwise you'll be creating a bunch of trash, and then your reputation will be trash, and then it won't matter what you're creating because no one's going to want to watch or listen. But on that note, did you see my launch? I just want everyone to have seen my launch. I'm so excited. Today is just Wednesday. I don't know why it feels like it's Saturday already.
Wow.
Today is just Wednesday. On Monday, February 1, to kick off this month of love and loving your business, I launched Her Academy. I don't have a theme song for that, but thank you. That's right. And the crowd goes wild. Yeah, Her Academy. And I'm so excited about it. If you're out there and you're at the launch, drop us a line and say, hey. So, yeah, oh my God, I'm so excited. So for those of you who are wondering what exactly is Her Academy, clearly it's woman-centric. Men are allowed. I've been asked that question repeatedly. Yes, men are allowed, but everything is woman-centric. And so that doesn't mean that everything will be pink, because honestly, I don't like pink. But it does mean that the focus is still centered around a woman's need for balance. But business itself is gender neutral. So the business information will apply to anyone. And so all are welcome, but spaces are limited. And so I'm so excited. So the academy is for that individual who's been in business less than 2 years. Either you've been in business for less than 2 years, or you've been taking your business seriously less than 2 years. So we're going to go through everything. If you register for the year, when the time is up, you will have a business plan in hand. You will have a roadmap. You will understand everything from how to file for your incorporation, be that S Corp, LLC, or C Corp, B Corp, nonprofit, whatever it is you're registering for. You will understand the differences between such. You will understand the processes of each. You will understand about marketing, about social media, about HR, about anything that touches the foundation of your business. You're going to know. So you won't be the one going, what's the SEC? What's ROI? MDM? What? What are we talking about? You'll know. So I'm really excited. So what'll happen each month is that it's focused around a theme. So to kick us off, our theme for this month is goal setter, goal getter, goal setter, goal metter. And so it's all about goal setting and meeting said goals. So we're talking about how to create quantifiable goals. You know, that's one of my favorite topics in the world. So how to create quantifiable goals, how to go about creating the pathway to meet those goals, reverse engineering, block scheduling. Like, we are going all the way in. So very excited about that. And we're kicking it off with a goal setting vision board party. So if you're a member, you get all of that in a bag of chips. Chips not actually provided.
Okay.
So very excited about that. And for those of you who are looking to join, as I said, there is a cap, but there's still spaces right now. I don't know for how much longer, but when I reach the cap, know that I mean the cap. I could do a whole lot more. Like, some people have these groups and they have thousands of people. I don't want that yet. Maybe in a couple of years, I'll want that. Right now, I want to be able to be really, really hands-on. And so in order to do that, then I want, and plus for this beta group, I want to have a very intimate setting. So that's what we're doing. And so each month what happens is we have the theme, there'll be resources provided. There's a private discussion group. Depending on the level, there's a one-on-one consultation, group consultations, a small group consultation. Each month there is a seminar session, and then 2 weeks later there's an implementation call. So whatever I taught you, or whoever the subject matter expert taught you, then we'll come back in 2 weeks and see how you did with your homework. See if you had any questions. You'll share your results. So we're really walking through the process with you. And I keep saying I have to calm myself down, but I am so excited. And part of the reason why it excites me is that as a consultant, just in general, to meet with me is normally the lowest you can probably get. It's like $200 an hour. And if you're just getting started, that's a lot, and you need a whole lot more than just an hour. Normally, if you're just getting started, you need 6 months to a year with me. That's just to get started. And so Absolutely. With that in mind, I was like, how can I was really concerned, like, how can I reach more people? I am one person, but all consultants are not equal. And so I know I'm amazing. And so I'm like, how can I reach more people? How can they afford it and it not be like such a strain? And so I came up with the idea of Entrepreneur Academy. And so right now, if you register before Monday or by Monday, it's just $35 a month, which I think is ridiculous. Like even I say that's kind of cuckoo.
Yeah.
It's $35 for the month or $350 for the year. After Monday, it's $50 a month or $500 for the year. And the annual rates, when you pay for the year, you get 2 months free. So if you all want to know more, you can log on and look at it, but the site's going to move. Right now, it's at secondchanceconsulting.wildapricot.org, but I'm actually building another site, and so that'll be up this weekend. So by the time we kick it off next week, it'll all be there. So if you want in, people, so don't tell me you couldn't afford me and you couldn't get me, because this is it. And in addition to the price going up, once we reach our cap, we will close the doors until another enrollment period. All right. So yay, Entrepreneur Academy. Okay. So if you really love your business, that's one way you can show it some love too. All right, all of that, and we're like, I'm just thinking, I think I went on my Black History rant for a while there. I think that's what took up all the time. So yeah, we're just going to talk about our word for the week.
Okay.
And so I love words, and part of the reason why we go over them is because in this day and age in particular, especially as you're online so much, I have just been noticing that people are having arguments and discussions and debates, and then at the end they're like, but that's what I meant. Then why are we having this discussion? So I hate wasting that time. So part of that is establishing good communication.
Right.
And one of the ways to do that is to make sure that you actually understand the words you're using or the words that someone else is using.
Right.
And so the word for the week is proclivity.
Proclivity.
Yes, proclivity. And it just means a tendency to do something. And kind of like a habit. And so the thing that I find fascinating or terrible is that normally when we talk about proclivities, it's normally used in a negative way. Like people talk about your negative proclivities, like your negative habits. Like I never hear anyone talk about like a positive proclivity. Although the example that was given by the dictionary was positive, that they had a proclivity towards hard work. And I was like, hey, someone is using it in a good way. Right. Christina with the K, do you have any proclivities? Doesn't that sound crazy? It doesn't sound right. It just doesn't. Let's be real.
Right.
It doesn't sound right. It just means you have any habits, anything that you have a tendency of doing.
You know what? Do I? You know what? You know me.
How's she gonna give me back my own question? Christina with a K has a proclivity for passing back questions that are asked of her.
Yes, you kind of caught me off guard. I was like sitting there thinking, like, okay, yeah.
Proclivity. Yeah. If you use it in sentences, people are like, what? What you mean by that? I mean, do you have a habit or a tendency of doing anything in particular? I normally use the word whenever I'm talking about a natural proclivity.
Okay.
So like things you're just born doing. Like if I'm like, oh, Christina with a K has a natural proclivity for singing.
Okay.
She has a habit of it. It's something that, it's something that you do. It's just a natural thing. Although in my case, I have a natural proclivity for singing about whatever I'm talking about. Like whatever the subject matter is, I like to sing a song about it. Right. So like if we're, it's like, so like even when we're talking about the show, like we talk of this where I'm like, oh, well, there's a song for that. Wrote a song about it. I like to hear you go. I just like to put everything into song. I don't know why. You don't say. But that's how I roll. That's how I roll in song. Sing a song. Sing out loud. Sing it strong. It doesn't matter if it's not loud enough for everyone else to sing. Right. You just sing. In case you all don't know, that is a song. You all didn't know that. You all were aware that was a song that I just said the words to. Okay, maybe not. There's an age difference in the room. Mm-hmm. Age gap. That's okay. Shirley has a proclivity for stating items that are age specific.
Yes.
I do. because I know the things that I know. You know what you know. I know what I know. Ooh, and together we grow. All right, I'm sorry. That's a made-up song. All right, so on that note, as we think about proclivities, I hope that you all have a natural proclivity of reading.
Yes.
Reading is fundamental. Although studies are showing that in the United States, the ability to read is decreasing.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I should pause like it's a moratorium. Like, what? So for all this time online, there are less people who are able to read, let alone comprehend more than a sentence or two, and they need pictures. I knew that the world was going in that direction when McDonald's put pictures on their cash register. So I've never worked at McDonald's, but in case you don't know, on the cash register, I haven't seen one recently, but they had it so when someone was placing an order, instead of it saying Big Mac, they pushed the button that looked like a Big Mac. And it was in order to not have any confusion about reading. Okay. I just feel the need. Oh, very good. Okay, so Christina with the C distracted me. She took her shelfie from last week when we were talking about that it was National Bookshelfie Day.
Oh yeah.
And so, but she didn't post it and share it, so I didn't see it. So now she's showing it to me a week late. She's supposed to have shown it to me already. So this is Christina's. She took her bookshelf. You're supposed to, I know, right? You're supposed to take a picture of your bookshelf and the books that you have.
Yeah, and, you guys don't want to see my bookshelf. Mine are full of Shirley Crawford's books.
That's a great library.
That I need to return. Okay.
Oh, you mean literally my books from my you know what? Let me go check my library cards.
Library, just put it back.
Let me check my library cards. In case you all didn't know, for members and for people who I actually like, I will allow you to check books out of my library. And so, but I actually do take a library card and write down your information so I know who to follow up on.
Yeah.
But as you can see, don't play. The Dewey Decimal System. We're gonna know who has checked out a book. But here's the thing. Every week I go buy more books, so I hadn't noticed that. But you're right, Christina. You do have a few, don't you? Okay, I might have to go back. I might have to go check my library cards. On that note,
at least I've read them. I will bring them back.
That is very important because I have had people like, I haven't read that yet. Give me back my book. If you haven't, you need to at least have read it. So I will say that is very good. All right, so our book moment for this week, because we do have a proclivity for reading, and another part of the reason is that if you're not reading, you would know. But if you read and you, especially biographies, autobiographies, millionaires, billionaires, successful people all talk about the need for reading. They all say one of their tendencies and habits is to read. So every week we come to you with our book moment. And it's normally 90% of the time, it's a book from my library. 10% of the time, it's a book that you all shared, or it's a book that I think I should be reading that I haven't read yet. So for this week, it's a book off my bookshelf. Da, 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 da. All right. And so this is the International Business Etiquette book. This one in particular is for Europe. They have multiples of them for various countries. And so, or continents in this case, this is the continent of Europe. And so I love this. So when I was in grad school, one of the classes that we had was all about communication, international communication. And so if you're in business, especially right now, right? So before the pandemic, you might have thought the totality of your business was Richmond, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, North Carolina. You thought it was by zip code. But what the pandemic has showed us is that we're global.
Absolutely.
Right? We are a global community. And so you can reach whoever you want to reach.
Right.
But you need to make sure you're understanding the regulations of the laws of the land of where you want to go. So like Christina is setting up shop in the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Right? And so I'm going to share some of the tips in here. And then, Christina, I'm going to ask you, I'm telling you in advance, about some of the things that you had to do along the same lines to be able to do business in the DR. And you're going to know what I mean after I share from here, right? But I often think about, part of the reason why I have this book is because when I was in grad school in my communications class, my professor gave this example about I think it's Tiburon. Don't quote me. But there was a car company that was going into an Asian location, and they were trying to understand why the vehicle wasn't selling. And so for those of you who don't know, oftentimes cars that are made in the U.S. are not, even if they're made by a U.S. manufacturer, are not always as great a quality as cars that are shipped outside of the U.S. And in part because other countries have higher regulations about what has to be manufactured. And so it's cheaper to make cheaper cars. And also the other thing was, it used to be that cars were made to last for life, but then people wouldn't come back and buy a new car. So cars are intentionally made to deteriorate. They are no longer made with the idea in mind of, oh, let's make it last. No, that is not the theme anymore. So sad but true. But hey, if you're an entrepreneur, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so with that in mind, with my etiquette book, he was saying about the car that went to I think it was Asia or somewhere in Asiatic, and so they couldn't figure out why the car wasn't selling. Well, it turns out the name of the car in the local language meant, I forget, something crazy, something insulting. And so no one had bothered to translate to know what the name meant in that country they were going to. So they figured it out. They changed the name. Success. So it's stuff like that. And I'm also, I don't know why this isn't working. Okay, so in a minute, the screen behind me is going to go black. I'm just letting you all know. So a prime example, and as a woman, right, as an African American, I always want to check before I go to a country to know, what do they think about Black people? What do they think about women? I need to know that information. If you are something else, you might not. There are some general things, but there are certain things I need to know. In particular, I always want to know, is it okay to wear pants? It's like one of my number one questions whenever I'm traveling. Like there are certain countries where it's just not appropriate. Do I need a head wrap? What do I need? How do they feel about makeup? Like whatever the case may be, there are certain things that have to be thought about that we don't always think about because we're always like the American.
Yeah.
So in this lovely book, one of the things they share, they talk about like what's appropriate business attire. And so I looked at France because I don't know that I should have a business there, but I do. Yeah, I should have something in Paris. I'll figure that out. I love Paris. Paris is amazing. Love France, south of France. La Rochelle, lovely, 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 lovely. So, the French, although they can be casual, they're always stylish. So it actually tells you, like, whatever you wear, make sure it's a good brand, a good label, that you look good. And it is so true. Like, the French can be wearing jeans and a t-shirt, but it does not look like an American wearing jeans and a t-shirt. They don't do slovenly. Totally not acceptable. As a matter of fact, the way that I tie my scarf, like whenever you see my scarves, like this knot is one that I learned week 1 when I went to France. I don't know, 20 years ago. It was a long time ago. Actually, it was more than 20 years ago, the first time I went. And so the way I tie my scarf is actually, it's a French knot that I learned there. Because they don't do just like a shirt. No, it's a scarf. They are an experience when it comes to attire. And that's what the book tells you. Like, they care about how they look. They're modestly cut and they're elegant accessories, but they dress to impress all the time. Okay. So they said, beware of invitations that suggest casual or informal, because their casual is not our casual. Business card, it goes through like what you should do about business cards. Goes through. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. One thing I thought was fascinating is because it talks about, like, if you're having a business meeting, like a business conversation, it is normally done. Okay. It's normally done over lunch, not dinner. And if there is a dinner meeting, then spouses are always, spouses are accepted. Spouses are invited for, if you're having a dinner meeting, they're really big on family. And so that means family is invited. So your spouse is invited for dinner. And if you bring your spouse, you're supposed to always ask, are they bringing their spouse?
Okay.
All right. So whenever you're ready to take Socialita to Paris, there you go. So yeah, that's the lunch piece. And then the other part that I love is that they have an entire, so for each country, they have a whole listing, and they talk about gift giving. And they say, if you're doing business with French people, beware that it's not going to be an overnight, like there is no pressure cooker, give me your answer right now stage. They don't do that. They like to go over every detail. So it takes a minute for business decisions to happen. And then like they have a section for women in business. That's the part, of course, I'm always looking at. So it talks about like what's the level of equality for the country you're dealing with. So like when they talked about Turkey, it was saying that they'll do business with you, but they prefer not to. So for France, it's like, okay, the sexes are considered equal, but the men are naturally flirtatious, and it doesn't mean a thing. Like, so like here in the US, like a man flirting with you over a meal and it's supposed to be business, we would be very offended. For them, it's a natural part of the conversation. And the crazy thing is, I can attest to that. They flirt all the time. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. And you're not supposed to chew gum in public. It's considered gauche. The bathrooms are oftentimes like, yeah. And the bathrooms are oftentimes unisex. Yeah, I didn't care for that. And so like, yeah, I can tell you that right now. And then like it also talks about like for the month of August, most businesses, including government agencies, tell me why I know that one, are closed for the month of August. Okay. So if you're traveling and you're in Paris and you lose your passport, you might have a delay. Federal agencies, I think, tend to be open, but like they do vacation. Like for Spaniards, we talk siesta. For French, the month of August is normally like standard vacation. Like whilst I was one of the times that when I was there, everybody was off for August. They travel, like they work really hard, but they play hard. They play hard. But when it's business time, they're about business. But when it's playtime, it's like, this is family. Like family time is a big thing. And socializing and spending quality time and like meals are like a really large thing. So like here, we don't do a bunch of courses unless we're going out to some fancy restaurant. But for them, and like Italy in particular, it's a real thing. There is your pre-drink, your appetizer, then there's another drink. There's like another light course, like it might be a salad or something else. Then there's your main course, and there's of course a drink that goes with your main course. Then there is sometimes there's something in between, but I can't remember what that is because I can never last that long. Then your dessert and a dessert wine, and then they sit around and talk. So they talk to you throughout the entire meal. Like the meal is a socializing experience. So those are some of the differences to know when you are, if you're looking to expand and you're looking to grow your business, now's a great time to get a book like this or go online and find some classes and courses to be able to know how to do business with other countries. Because you are no longer just the American doing business in Virginia, North Carolina, whatever state you're in, Texas. I'm going to set up shop in Texas. I keep saying that. Y'all think I'm joking. I am. I don't think I'm going to move there anymore, but I'm definitely going to go ahead and set up shop. Too many contacts in Texas. Going to have to do it. All right. So that's our book it moment. What did I do with the book? Oh, I put it down. That's what I did with it. Vacation needed. All righty then. Okay. So Christina, on that note, so from the type of things we're talking about, what are the things that you had to do to prepare to be able to do business in the DR?
Okay, so first researching the culture, right? Because what we do is social media. And again, one thing you don't want to do is offend anyone when you are posting on behalf of their business, because what's quirky and funny and permissible to us isn't always the same in another country, especially Dominican Republic. Understanding that I guess that country isn't where we are. So when we're posting, for example, like Black Lives Matter, or um, posting more ethnic things, understanding that other countries may not have gotten there yet. So understanding that, what you can put and what you can't put in the forefront. I'll say it that way.
And what about, because I didn't mention this from the book, but I think about my first trip to the DR. Oh wow, that was a long time ago. I had to go to the DR to take my GMATs, because I was living in Haiti at the time, and I was coming back to go to grad school, so I had to take my GMATs, and no place in Haiti, no place at that time was actually providing GMAT testing, so I had to go to the DR, and but it was Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
So, most of their things are closed. Yeah.
Everything was shut down. So I took my test was scheduled for like the Thursday before the weekend, which thank God. But then so a friend of mine came over because she wouldn't visit me in Haiti, but she would visit me in DR. Thank you, Leisha. And so she came for the weekend. Nothing's open. Everything was shut down. And so
and sometimes it's closed for a pretty long time. It's not like one day. So yeah.
The entire time that we were there, everything was shut down. And so I had to get the hotel clerk. I was like, look, I'm only here until Tuesday. You got to help me out. Where can I go to eat? Where can we go? Is there any entertainment? And so he actually got in his car and showed me around and took me out.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, nothing is open.
Right.
And so that's the kind of thing that you have to think about. If you're dealing with another country, is the religious customs.
Right.
And
right.
so
and if you're hiring employees from there as well, you have to,
a whole different set of holidays,
those things as well.
Right. Yeah. And so, religious beliefs and things are different country to country. And so, yeah, so it's the point is, for each of you out there, it's time for you to expand your business. I should hope that you're actually looking at platforms that are international. It's time to grow. The pandemic has provided you the lens to see that you're only as limited as you allow yourself to be. Period. And the end. Right? So, okay. Sorry. That was funny. Lots of things happening. And so with that in mind, with that idea in mind, that you're only as small as you make yourself, then you want to take the time now to expand and see, maybe you want to do business in Japan or Tokyo or wherever it is that you're thinking that you might want to do business. Learn about that country, learn about those cultures, learn about those customs. So I run a women's business center. I can be looking at, there are lots of NGOs, non-government organizations, that do work with women with regards to finances in a variety of countries, and actually have been looking. And I'm really looking and thinking about connecting with one to potentially see if there's some way that the Women's Business Center might be of assistance. I'm really thinking that Unilever, are you out there, Unilever? Can you hear me now? I think we'd make a great partner. I'll be back. All right. So, on that note, Christina with the K, Socialita Christina, I think we're ready for our Socialita business check-in.
Yeah. Okay, so during this time, we talk about different businesses that are in the RVA area, and businesses that are doing big things. So shout out to Imagine Media Lab with Christina. She is hosting this amazing podcast, WorkHARDAholics. So if you need a promo video, if you are in need of podcast hosting, check her out, Imagine Media Lab. Okay. Second Chance Consulting with Shirley Crawford. Yes, if you have a business and you just don't really know where to start, right? You need to check out Shirley Crawford. As she mentioned earlier, if you are in the early stages of being an entrepreneur and building your business, please, please, please sign up to her Entrepreneur Academy. Okay. Yes. And I'm pretty sure that the link will be attached to this podcast. So make sure that you click it, look at it, and sign up. Right? It's a no-brainer. So the next business is CBD for You, which is with Jennifer Elliott. So if you are looking for, I don't know what CBD does, and I probably should.
They have massage oils, and
Okay.
I feel like there are a lot of products that include CBD now. So
Okay.
CBD oils, it's not okay. Part of the dilemma is that they're always talking about the fact that is it just all like marijuana related. That is
Yeah, and that's what
that
I
is
was.
not what we're discussing. But there are lots of medicinal benefits as far as like hemp oil and
Right.
with regards to CBD. And so everything from like my mother's chiropractor uses CBD oils for massage instead of using
Okay.
like icy hot.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Perfect.
all of that's happening.
Okay.
All right. So yes, please
Yeah, so
as you
shout out
were.
to no problem. Shout out to Jennifer Elliott. If you are looking for some CBD items, make sure you check her out. Okay. Ruth Littlejohn LLC. So make sure that if you are in need of um, diverse training, cultural training, right? If you're looking for a group where you can express yourself and express your views and to be able to get feedback and maybe take a couple workshops, make sure that you check out Ruth Littlejohn LLC. Okay. They are located in
I have
Virginia Beach.
yes, I have a Ruth Littlejohn comment because I've only recently become aware of her, and so apparently
Okay.
she has an affinity group coming up in
Mm-hmm.
March, and so the
Okay.
deal is that she has two affinity groups. She does one, and then Champion somebody does the other. So she does one for African American women, and Champion
Mm-hmm.
does one for white women or Caucasian women. And so here is the deal. As an African American, because of the fact that a lot of us have dealt with systemic racism,
Mm-hmm.
then there are certain things that are just a part of the DNA of our country that has caused us trauma consciously, subconsciously, etc. And so we deal with that and we just carry it. We just carry it as a part of our existence along with everything else that we have to do in life. And so from the African American group, part of the conversation is understanding the trauma that you have dealt with, the trauma that you're currently dealing with. So, of course, including Black Lives Matter, but everything from slavery to now that you have encountered in your life or have been impacted by. So they have those conversations to help you, one, recognize how your past is influencing your present, let alone your future. And then for the Caucasian group, for the Caucasian woman group, they learn a little bit more about just privileges that are part, like white privilege, like things that are part of your life and existence. So even if you are a good Caucasian person, if you're a good white person and you mean no harm to the world, there are still ways that you sometimes are part of the systemic racism as well. So a good time to start to have the conversation to be able to understand what it's like to not be white, and then to be able to figure out ways that you can contribute to society to be a better addition. And then they all come together and have this group conversation, hopefully to get tools that they can then pass on to other generations.
Right.
Period. The end.
Perfect. Like that was an amazing explanation. I just want to say that.
I just got it. So once I got it, I'm like, oh, I get it.
Okay. And of course, Socialita, social media management company. So in the event that you are looking for some assistance with content creation, if you are looking for assistance with photography, branding for your business, make sure that you check us out at www.socialitarva.com. Hashtag business etiquette.
All right, now you better know what you're about, people. Hashtag business etiquette. Yeah. And in case you didn't know, etiquette is spelled with a Q. I just feel like sorry, I'm having a flashback. Please forgive me. All right, believe it or not, it's like 2:00. I'm like, oh my God. What do we do with the time? We did not share a bunch of stuff. So we're going to make sure we post it to some links somewhere. I don't know if it'll make it everywhere, but it'll at least be on the Facebook page. So one, our time tool technique for the week is OBS. And not only are we, OBS is amazing. We're using it right now. So as you see like the images on top of our images and how Christina, our producer, is changing stuff. Now you might not be able to do it as well as Christina does it. I mean, let's just be honest. but you can do it well enough to do a good Zoom call. Really. A little mini seminar from home. And Christina with a C, our producer and the proprietor of the Imagineering Lab, has actually been gracious enough that she created a video introduction to OBS. And so if you're looking at the screen, you can see the link. You'll find the link from the Women's Business Center Facebook page. So that's at WBCRVA. We might post it a couple other places, so you can check that out. And so, time is gone. Wow. I'm so glad we had this time together.
Yes.
Goodness. All right, Christina, anything coming up? Anything happening? Anything that people need to know?
You know what? No. No, not right now. Not that I can think of, no.
I am sure there are events happening all throughout the month for Black History Month, and we will make sure that we get that calendar and attach it for you all so that you can be aware. For those of you who are interested in Entrepreneur Her Academy, keep in mind Monday is the cutoff for the Founding Females rate. And although you are a great person, that is the cutoff. Just want you to know. So be sure to share because we want you, but actually we don't want all of you, but we want many of you. There is a cap. There's a cap on how many, and there's a cap on the rate. So I'm just telling you because I know this is going to be life-changing, and I wanted to change your life. Because if you don't love your business, I do. And I want to share that love. Grow with love. Does anyone know the movie quotes that I share? See what I mean, people? Alrighty then. So we're about to say goodbye. Christina, you want to tell them goodbye?
Goodbye, everyone. No, don't forget. I forgot. So I am going to be offering some self-care mini portraits, specifically just for adults. We are in the middle of COVID-19, and in this pandemic, all of us have just, even for myself, you just burnt out. You know,
burnt out for what? Yeah, I'm burnt out.
Right. I wanted to do some self-care portraits, not boudoir. But
I was waiting. I was like, does she mean boudoir?
Boudoir. But it will be self-care where you can still love on yourself, be sexy, but still be appropriate enough if you want to post them on social media.
So the kind of pictures you give to a boyfriend, not a husband, like who?
You know what? They're the kind of pictures that you look at and you are proud to be yourself.
Okay, so not like what I would get for a headshot, because that's my business. Like that's my. If anyone hasn't seen my headshot,
photos.
Huh?
Yeah. These are healing photos.
What does that mean?
It's a process of healing. So one thing that
I'm not the only one asking. I'm just the only one who has the voice for you to hear.
That's okay. So it's a moment where you take a moment to get dolled up and get dapper and all these different amazing things because you haven't had the chance to do that, right?
So it's a love yourself picture.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. So you get pampered and cute, and you know, and you get to look and see. I'm hot. You're not. Y'all don't know that one either. That is a song.
Yeah, but it is not boudoir. I need to make.
I am clear. There is no bedroom action happening here. It's just a happy, strong. Yeah. I think about it in terms of women, but it's not just women. Right. But I think it's
men as well.
From the woman's standpoint, it's the I'm strong. It's like if you think of your top 5 adjectives, this is what you're showing in your picture.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. But I'm sure I wasn't the only one who needed to ask. Y'all needed to ask too. I just asked for y'all. That's all. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nope. That's it.
Okay. I know on the 17th, I am doing the author series with Ron DeYoung, the IML Presents author series, talking about one of my books.
Okay.
I think the ABCs of social media is the one that I'll be talking about for that day. So very excited about that. Very honored. I'm always honored when people want to have me on. I am. And just because I do it a lot does not mean that I'm not honored. I am very honored. And I'm looking forward to it. So that should be exciting. For those of you who are watching, I just realized that if you are not watching on Facebook, then you can't even hear the conversation with Christina. That just occurs to me. But that's the podcast. The podcast, you hear it all. All right, just a thought for you people over here. That's all. All right, so we're about to say goodbye. And so, as I always say, live better, do better, be better. And come on, Christina. Happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
And you can hear a word from our sponsors as we say goodbye.
Let Socialita help your business stand out from the crowd by building your brand success through social media management. We're located at 1510 Willowlawn Drive, Suite 100. Our website is www.socialitarva.com. You can also give us a call at 804-484-2001. Again, Socialita.
Imagine Media Lab, in partnership with the Women's Business Center, offers hourly rental to a multimedia studio. Create or edit digital assets for marketing. Record that podcast you've always wanted to start. Voiceovers and live stream. All equipment and software is included in your hourly rental. Located at the Women's Business Center, 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100. ImagineMediaLabs.com. Book your session today.
Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at WBCRVA. When you're ready for more than just office space, come join the WBCRVA family.